the Ghanaian media, on Tuesday, the Parliament of Ghana will reconvene. And when it reconvenes, I am very certain that Parliament and Ghana will go through a major constitutional test. And that constitutional test is that the NDC minority must become the majority from Wednesday next week. And this must happen if there is constitutional and legal propriety in Ghana. Because any nuanced interpretation of Article 97 provides that if a member of parliament on a political party ticket like NPP defects and fails to be independent, that MP ceases to be member of parliament. And if an independent member of parliament, by virtue of the provision of Article 97, subclause G, an independent joins a political party, that independent loses constitutional recognition and does not belong to parliament. And even if an NDC candidate, MP, defects to become an independent, he ceases to be a member of parliament. Therefore, we will invoke the Speaker's proper and true interpretation of Article 97 by our standing orders, which must mean that 3 NPP MPs no qualify to be members of parliament. And 1 NDC MP does not also qualify to be member of parliament. Therefore, the Speaker will be called upon on Tuesday to declare 4 parliamentary seats vacant and declare them as lacking constitutional recognition.
Well, so that is Honorable Haruna Idrisu, and all this has to do with Article 97. Yes, Article 97 is the article that he's relying on. Okay, so a member of parliament shall vacate his seat in parliament. So a few conditions upon a dissolution of parliament. That's A. B. If he's elected as Speaker of Parliament. In the case of Doa Jaho, if you recall famously, Doa Jaho was elected Member of Parliament for Akachi South. And then he was subsequently elected as Speaker because then he was nominated by former President John Dramani Mahama. By the party. And the choice of the majority at the time. So he was then elected as Speaker. So immediately that seat was declared vacant, and that's how my very good friend, look at his name has escaped me, the current Member of Parliament came into Parliament and has been in Parliament 6. Then the C is, if he is absent without permission in writing of the Speaker and is unable to offer a reasonable explanation to the Parliamentary Committee on Privileges from 15 sittings of a meeting of Parliament during any period that Parliament has been summoned to meet and continues to meet. And you recall the famous case of Sarah Adjoa-Safo and Honorable Kennedy Ejepong. I think the guy who is now Interior Minister was also one of them. Henry Quartey. I think Henry Quartey was one of the MPs at the time who had to appear before the Privileges Committee to explain the absence from Parliament for a particular period of time. There are people who say that the target was actually Sarah Adjoa-Safo, but they added the rest just so that. So that is one. So absence. So we've seen that to also play out in Parliament. D, if he's expelled from Parliament after having been found guilty of contempt of Parliament by a committee of Parliament, or so that one, I'm not sure if we have had that one. Any member of Parliament being found guilty of contempt of Parliament and was expelled. E, if any circumstances arise that if he were not a member of Parliament will cause him to be disqualified or ineligible for election under Article 94 of this Constitution. Remember, Chechi Kwesen, when the court ruled that he was not qualified to have contested the election in the first place, his seat was declared vacant. So they had to do the election again. Then F, if he resigns from office as a member of Parliament by writing under his hand address to the speaker. I recall famously there was a member of parliament who resigned to become a chief. I think he resigned to become a chief or something. Then his seat was declared vacant, and then they held an election. Yes, there was a member of parliament who actually did that. I think that was how BT Baba got into parliament. The man resigned to become a chief. Yes. Then G, if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election of parliament. No, first of all, let me jump to H. I'll come to G because G is the article that Honorable Haruna Idrisu relied on in making his point. H, if he was elected a member of parliament as an independent candidate and joins a political party. That's why people were asking questions of even the same Andre Sesiama. Because he's joined the political party. No. But should that not apply to Andre Sesiama in this case? Because he was elected a member of parliament as an independent. He's now contesting on the ticket of the NPP. Why is that not a problem? He's now joined.
So he can be
why should that not?
Two of the clauses can, apply to him.
Yes. Then G, if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to parliament to join another party, or seeks to remain in parliament as an independent member. Okay. So those two, Nancy says and Sesiama should be subjected to both G and H.
Yes.
But G says if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in parliament as an independent member. Now, if you listen to Honorable Haruna carefully, he mentions 5 MPs. Now, there's one we have on record because her matter has gone before court. And Nancy will take you through that story in, is it Publisher?
The Publisher.
Okay, the Publisher newspaper. The story of, is it Cynthia Morrison?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Cynthia Morrison. So Nancy will read that story. We'll also share with you one of the reasons why it looks like this is the determined case. Nancy.
Okay, so Member of Parliament for Agona West constituency in the Central Region, Cynthia Mamle Morrison, who recently occupies the seats on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, has been stopped by a competent court of jurisdiction from holding herself as an independent parliamentary candidate for the same constituency ahead of the December 2024 general elections. The restraining order holds until a final determination of a substantive writ to challenge her eligibility to contest as an independent candidate. The Electoral Commission has also been ordered to not grant Cynthia Morrison such status to register as an independent candidate for Agona West. Now, Cynthia contested the Agona West seats on the ticket of the NPP in 2016 and 2020 and won on both attempts. Her ambition to be a third-term MP on the NPP ticket crashed when she lost out at the party's internal primaries. Out of the 5 NPP members who contested the Agona West primary, Cynthia Morrison placed last, but she soon raised red flags and alleged she had been treated unfairly and announced that she would be contesting as an independent candidate when the party, the NPP, has a legitimately elected candidate. True to her words, campaign posters announcing Cynthia Morrison as an independent candidate for Agona West popped up, and she herself has been justifying the thinking that went into her independent journey. 3 concerned Ghanaians, Emmanuel Addison, Solomon Nyako, and Harrison K. Agalago, all residents of Agona Suidru, dragged both Cynthia Morrison as first defendant and the Electoral Commission as second defendant to the court, seeking to restrain them from pursuing the independent candidacy agenda. Now, the ruling on the motion was straight and direct. It is hereby ordered that the motion for interlocutory injunction restraining the first defendant from holding herself as a parliamentary candidate and the second defendant from proceeding with the nomination of Cynthia Morrison as an independent parliamentary nominee until the matter is fully determined. it is further ordered that the defendant should refrain from any actions regarding the nomination process for the position of Member of Parliament for Agona West constituency with regards to Cynthia Morrison pending the resolution of the case. Agona West primaries, then they give details of what happened during the primaries, blah, blah, blah. Among the 5 day. So, basically, that is the story. So, the court has ordered that everything should stop. The Electoral Commission should stop, giving her any information or, putting her up as an independent candidate. Yeah, so that is basically the story.
Did you say was it a further order made as to the matter of her being Member of Parliament?
So, no, not Member of Parliament. It is further ordered that the defendant should refrain from any actions regarding the nomination process for the position of Member of Parliament for Agona West
Nomination process, okay.
Constituency with regards to Cynthia Morrison pending the resolution. So that order was for the second defendant, okay. Yes.
The first one.
The first one says, it is hereby ordered that the motion for interlocutory injunction restraining the first defendant from holding herself as parliamentary candidate.
Okay.
So that is that too.
Okay, so parliamentary candidate, not MP?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the decision of the court. So the nomination is a process.
Yes.
So she's filed, and I'm sure her nomination has been. Of course, I don't think that there have been no issues raised with their nomination as an independent candidate. So she's been qualified to contest.
Yeah.
Now, what that means is that they'll move through the notice of poll, printing of the notice of poll, then printing of ballot papers, among others. Now, they said all that should stop as far as Cynthia Morrison is concerned.
Yes, that's it.
So I don't know how the Electoral Commission would apply this particular ruling, because it's an interlocutory injunction. I think it lasts for 14 days or something. Then it expires. So would the Electoral Commission just decide that for
Cynthia?
Is it Agona
West?
Agona West. For Agona West, would the Electoral Commission just determine that for the Agona West, at least, we should put all things on hold? Now there comes the former minority leader. Very interesting, because in his first term, something happened that has informed him to say this was. And I'll come to you, Nancy, shortly, to read what happened that has fortified Honorable Haruna Idrisu. In the first term, when he was minority leader, something happened in Parliament that's making him say these things. But before then, let's listen to him again.
Media. On Tuesday, the Parliament of Ghana will reconvene. And when it reconvenes, I am very certain that Parliament and Ghana will go through a major constitutional test. And that constitutional test is that the NDC minority must become the majority from Wednesday next week. And this must happen if there is constitutional and legal propriety in Ghana. Because any nuanced interpretation of Article 97 provides that if a member of Parliament on a political party ticket like NPP defects and files to be independent, that MP ceases to be member of Parliament. And if an independent member of Parliament, by virtue of the provision of Article 97, subclause G, an independent joins a political party, that independent loses constitutional recognition and does not belong to Parliament. And even if an NDC candidate, MP, defects to become an independent, he ceases to be a member of Parliament. Therefore, we will invoke the Speaker's proper and true interpretation of Article 97 by our standing orders, which must mean that 3 NPP MPs no qualified to be members of parliament. And 1 NDC MP does not also qualify to be member of parliament. Therefore, the speaker will be called upon on Tuesday to declare 4 parliamentary seats vacant and declare them as lacking constitutional recognition.
Well, so that is Honorable Haruna Idris. Like I said, the first term of this government, when Speaker Professor Michael Quay was Speaker of Parliament, something happened that perhaps has fortified his position. Makes him, so he said the Speaker must declare, which is there's precedence that makes him believe that that should be the position of the Speaker. Nancy, share that with us.
Okay, so this is 7th November 2020. Election 2020, Speaker declares Fomena parliamentary seats vacant. Now, Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, has declared the Fomena parliamentary seats vacant. The declaration follows the decision of the NPP MP to contest for re-election as an independent candidate after he lost the party primary. Quote, with all intent and purposes, he is no longer a member of the party. He has pronounced himself publicly as an independent and has filed his papers to compete against the party in his official candidate He has filed his papers to compete against the party in his official candidate as an independent on 7th December 2020, end quote, the Speaker said on Saturday. This comes on the back of a letter by the leadership of the NPP to expel Andrew Amoako-Siama, the incumbent MP, from the party after he decided to run as an independent candidate in the upcoming general elections. So the party actually wrote a letter. President Akufo-Addo at a Deba in Fomena on Wednesday also expressed his disappointment in Fomena MP's refusal to rescind the decision. Mr. Amoako-Siama had told newsmen that he is not leaving the 7th parliamentary parliament despite a request to send him packing. Quote, if they have sacked me, I am still part of them. They are saying they have dismissed me, but I am still winning for the party, he told newsmen. Parliamentary, okay. So that, but speaking on the floor, Professor Mike Okwe read the ruling in support of the NPP's request for Mr. Isiama's seat to be rendered vacant. Quote, having forfeited the membership of his party on whose ticket he was elected to Parliament. Let me take that again. Quote, having forfeited the membership of the party on whose ticket he was elected to Parliament, the operative language of the Constitution is that he shall, which is mandatory, vacate his seat in Parliament. But according to the Speaker, it will be absurd that where any sitting MP will be campaigning against the party that he or she represents in Parliament and yet ridiculously stands against the party, end quote. So that is the ruling and the pronouncement of the Speaker at the time.
Okay.
So he believes that no purposeful interpretation of the law would allow such ridicule to prevail. The Speaker further explained that the decision had the full backing of the Constitution to which the incumbent MP, Mr. Isiama, subscribed. So then he quoted Article 97, 1 Clause G, that you just read. So that's it.
Okay, great. Now, let's share with you that particular video.
What is anticipated under the 1992 Constitution. In the circumstances, Parliament it is determined that the conduct of Honourable Andrew Amoako-Siama amounts to vacating his seat in Parliament. Accordingly, we bring this to the notice of the Electoral Commission for the necessary action to be taken in accordance with the law.
Well, that's the Speaker of Parliament then, Professor Michael Quay, declaring the Fomena seat vacant because Andrew Amoako-Siama had decided to contest that as an independent candidate. This is a story from October 13, 2020. And it says the ruling New Patriotic Party has revoked the membership of members who have filed as independent parliamentary candidates in the upcoming general elections. Citing Article 3.9 of the party's constitution, the party's General Secretary, John Boyd, in a statement on Tuesday said when members filed their nomination, they automatically forfeited their membership. Quote, equally, by this constitutional injunction, any member of the party who supports or campaign for independent parliamentary candidate ahead of the forthcoming general election also automatically forfeits his or her membership of the New Patriotic Party. I think in the case of, you can go back to the case of Vivian Kojo and tell what happened to the party members. Let's go and speak to Honorable Inusa Fuseni, who is former member of parliament for Tamale Central. At the time, he was the ranking member on the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. I remember, Honorable, good morning, and I hope you're well.
Good morning, and I was Tamale and you're saying Tamale.
Tamale is always a nice place to be.